Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to another Ladder Legends replay analysis. Today we have one from one of our new members, Wise Guy. Fantastic SE Evo player, lover of Burrow Roaches and Lings and Banes. And a Master 1 Zerg player. His questions today with this replay are, how could his opponent have reacted better? How does he then respond to the ideal reaction? And then how to better improve, enhance on his build order, add to the build order, make it better. So, that's what we're going to be going over today. So, it's be a Burrow Roach opener. So, let's take a look. The most important part of the Burrow Roach opener is how optimally we mine our gas and what exactly we're going for. Having a number of roaches in mind, you go Burrow as well, I assume. So, however many roaches you're going to make, X 25 gas plus the 100 gas it takes to get Burrow, and likely a skip on Ling speed is what I would assume we start with. So we go pool before gas, which is okay with. It just depends upon how fast we want to go for our roaches. So I don't have too many notes on this. I won't be able to have too many notes on this rather until we see how the opener plays out and how many roaches you end up making. Also very happy one of my cameras decided to work today. Hi, guys. All right. So we're making workers here. We make a Lings. This is for, what, the Adept? You don't, with this Overlord here, you don't have to start Lings until the Adept pops out and it leaves. Oh. If I see this straight up, you're already mining gas. You see this. Oh, you don't have Ling speed on the way. But if it were a normal opener with Ling speed, this is a Baneling bus central. You never put a pylon in the wall. Sorry, Cordy. I know we're actually Cordy is also in the server. But my friend, 3x3 building right here, please. You could even do like your tech, like your Stargate could go here. It's only got a 3 square opening. It'll be very protected. You could put a shield battery, whatever. Just not a pylon. Sorry, that's a pause note, I gotta say. I didn't realize it was our good friend here. Actually, I think he told me he needs a Spanish translator, so if anyone sees this video and they happen to know Spanish, if you wouldn't mind shooting this guy a message for me, otherwise I'll get the translation to him somehow. Either way. Okay. Roach Warren's on the way, Burrow's on the way, so far we're gearing up for 6 roaches or so. We're at 26 drones. One thing that I think... Okay, so we're going for 5 roaches. Yep, so this is going to be 5 roaches with Burrow, okay? And then we should be vying for a third base, like, immediately after this. Very nice. I think you could get this with a third base. You could probably still do this with a 230 third base. It really depends, though. I'd have to try it out a couple times myself and see how the money feels, right? So he sees its roaches immediately, which mean the roaches are most likely not going to do much. He starts a Stalker. He should be starting a shield battery right here, and he needs to keep the Oracle at home as well as energy overcharger. He energy overcharges the Oracle, which will allow him to either place a Stasis Orb, but more importantly, Revelate. Yeah, two Oracles. We get a Revelation. Okay, so what should we be doing right now? Back at home, we're making 6 more drones. We have our 3rd on the way. We're getting a Spore Crawler. I would love to see a 3rd Queen for a Creep Tumor. We're getting a Spore Crawler at the front. What we should do is, as well, position Overlord here, or like in the transfer path. That way we can drop Creep with the Overlord if we don't have any Creep Queens, which at the moment we don't. And then we can move said Spore to the middle for the actual transfer path. We should already be starting a 3rd Queen, though, because this Queen can inject here and then go here, and then this base will instantaneously have a Queen, therefore just netting you more production right off the rip. So that's a variation to this follow-up that I would like to... I think we could... an adjustment we definitely should make, as well as putting on gas slightly faster so we can have a lair starting right when this hits. Because we want to be moving into the next stage of our plan, which in this case I would assume is either Hydra Transition or Roach Speed, either or with +1. So... that's what I assume would be the next step in this. I know you tend to like Lings and Banes, though, so we'll see how you decide to follow this up. What could he have done better? He should have energy overcharged I don't necessarily mind that he didn't do the first Oracle. He did the second. He should have chrono boosted his Stalker, but most importantly, he should get a shield battery here. He should have had a shield battery here instantaneously, and I would have, the moment I see you burrow, he needs to start a robo, and then work on taking a third base as fast as possible after this. Even if you kill workers here, he just needs to rebuild the probes while taking a third base. It kind of, his ideal scenario is ignoring this almost. Basically like, okay, you're doing this, not going to stop my plan kind of thing. Lose as few workers as possible. Keep the expansion timing on track. Move forward with Immortal, Zealot, like High Templar kind of play style. Oracles need to be scouting you. That's the ideal play for the Protoss. Now for you, ideally you kill, I mean, you with how many workers you have right now, we're down by like, I don't know, 8 to 10 from where we normally would be. So we want to be killing it at the bare minimum 5 or 6 probes here, like at bare minimum here, like every single time. Otherwise, it's going to be hard to transition out of it. A good outcome is like minus 10 workers, I think, for the toss. But a playable outcome is at least minus 5 or 6. How many did we kill? We got 3. Like, I would not consider this a great opener. Your third's late. We don't have an extra queen for it. Our lair is also not even started yet. Like, our tech is just kind of light years behind. We are overreacting way too much to the oracles, by the way. You want to spore in the main base. You don't need to spore in the natural because you can just park your queens on the ramp, like your extra queens here. And then spore at the third base. Queen at the third injects on this side and stands here. Queen at the natural, one stands on this side while it's injecting, another one on the ramp, and then you have your one in the main base. Your overlords spot the oracle coming in, and then wherever hockey your queens are on, you move the queens towards the oracle and try to deflect. This is why you don't need a spore here. With proper queen control, you should never have to build the third spore. I don't mind if you do to be safe, but if we're talking about an opener that's going to put us in an economic deficit, we want to cut every single corner we can, one of those being spore crawlers, if possible, right? That's an extra drone plus an extra 75 minerals you would have had, which almost pays for the extra queen in itself, and the extra queen would allow for creep spread between the bases. All of these things are important for furthering your position as a Zerg into the game, especially when it comes to an opener that did not really pan out very well. Now, a mistake that our opponent has made is he waited another 30 plus seconds to get a third base. So his third base is definitely later than it should be. You're going to have a significant amount of time where you're mining off these mineral patches that he does not have access to. However, regardless, the Protoss player is in a fine spot after this, and we are just very behind on tech. We just didn't kill enough workers with the opening of this. Another thing I think we should do is the moment you see the oracles out, you spread like 2 in the natural and 3 in the main if possible, burrowing as they get low. You want to spread them out to where they're bigger than 1 revelation size, right? That way the Protoss player has to waste 2 revelations, and or like maybe he misses or something like that, and even then, because you're spread out, his DPS is also spread out, allowing for more effective regeneration of your roaches while they're burrowed. The longer you can stay in his base and be a nuisance, the more worthwhile you can make this build for you. How many spores do we have currently? If 6 spore crawlers, if we could cut that down to 2, we would be at 55 drones right now for reference. We'd actually be in a pretty decent economic lead. His third base is late, but if it weren't late, you guys would be pretty even right now. He did go for triple oracle. I like the burrows. So let's go back a little bit before the oracles came in. How many units do we have? We don't have any additional units. So we should definitely have like overlords on pillars out here somewhere. Pillar here, pillar here, pillar here, and here. Until you start seeing one of your overlords being threatened, most of the time this one will be the scouter overlord for that, aka Void Ray or Phoenix coming to kill the overlords. Then you can pull the rest of them back, but until then we need to take advantage of our free vision. If you were to see these oracles here, like while they're out here instead of once they're here, you'd be able to react to it, have all your queens in position where they need to be, and not have unnecessary losses like this. Also, you would be able to preemptively do it, therefore you could have more attention in the bank for other important things like spending your larva and not being supply blocked to 74. I'm glad we have spotters now that Ling speed is done, and this is what I meant earlier by I know you like Lings. I don't care for the double expansions necessarily. I like the you're getting a lot of hatcheries because you're going to be playing lings, but we should saturate our 3 bases before we do that. Like, finish your saturation on here, finish your saturation on here. You took this gas, it's not saturated. It's just like, these are just things that are being done out of order in operations, right? Get to the economy that we need to be at before we are expanding to further expanding the locations. I wouldn't mind seeing you take an early 4th. Honestly, even earlier than this if you're going to play lings, but if you would have taken the 4th at, say, 5 minutes instead of a 4th and 5th at 6 minutes, you would already be having a base done to be spending these extra resources of filling up another mineral line and then you could just do the macro hatch in the main, and it would be much more efficient feeling, I promise. I don't think the follow-up is perfect here. I don't like I like that we're spending our money, but it just feels like it's out of order in terms of operations. Unnecessary donation. You're never going to kill that. And we also just gave up all of our spotter lings. Like, you had these lings very well spread out here, here, and here, and now we have no vision there, right? So it's just like, that was a waste. Unfortunate, like, something to take note of. We want to try to be as least wasteful as possible, especially when we open up with something that is economically worse, right? Like, he's already ahead of you in workers again. The reason why you didn't feel like you needed to build a bunch more workers, though, is because your bases were late, right? This is one of those this is like a callback to what I was talking about a minute ago with the order of operations thing. He's playing Mass Oracle style, which has been what's popular on YouTube these last couple days, so you're probably going to be seeing a bit more of this. We need a lot more queens than what we currently have. Nice, he revealed and killed it. He's going to get Baneling Nest. Now we're going in. We somehow got past the Stasis Ward. That was very nice. Made the Oracles come back home to defend. Counterattacking is always your friend. We gotta try to run away, though. We could have made that into a positive trade and didn't. Just these small decisions, you know, it wouldn't have taken too much of your time to take that and go back. I normally wouldn't be this critical, right? But we're Master 1 bordering GM, so we gotta be these small things. We gotta be paying more attention to, giving more heed rather. They do matter. For reference, if we hadn't lost the rest of those lings or got out at a decent time plus the lings from earlier, you would be at like 160 to 146 right now instead of dead even in supply. And we're behind on army. All right, 2-1-2. We're going triple Evo. We finally have enough workers now, which is very nice. Now once we have this many drones, this is where I don't mind taking all these bases, as long as we're spending our larva, which we are starting to spend our larva. The injects are going pretty well. One thing we should be doing a little bit more of is having overlord spotters. Like, these guys are chilling doing nothing, and it's just like putting them in the corners of the map like this for warp prism spotting. Very, very useful. Very useful to have. You could have him up here, or like army spotting on the pillars still. He still is only building like oracles with the army. And now this is, of course, I know this happens to every Zerg player, but it's just something to think about that we could be using on top of creep. Our creep spread is getting out there. It's definitely been lacking a bit, but that's because of the lack of an additional queen from earlier on that we were talking about. If you make even one additional queen, it just kickstarts your creep spread so much. So we brought everything up here as if we're coming from an arc down here, but it would have been way more effective to leave the army that... Hold on. It would be way more effective to have this section of your army down here, and we come with those guys coming from the back while all of these guys coming from the front. We get a full surround. Full surround, it causes all their DPS to be split. The guys in the middle, the Stormers, don't have nearly as juicy of targets, and... it just puts everything under consistent threat. He won't be able to run away from you either, as long as if you surround him, especially with Link Bane. So we're sending like small chunks in. We're going for a fight. Now we're chasing him, and he gets to run away and use storms as a zoning tool. If we come down here, we surround him. That doesn't happen. As Zerg, it's very, very important to set up your engagements. Good kills on the oracles. He had links coming for the flank. Hydra DPS is crazy. We have 3,000 minerals. Yeah, okay, there we go. How late was our hive? Alright, we started our infestation pit now. This is a very late hive considering we had 86 workers, I must say. Like, if we're going for mass links like this, Adrenal is very important. We could have already been at Broods as well, which Broods are the hard counter to this army. Making infestors now for the fungals. Nice. Very nice win. I hope these tips/suggestions help you out, wise guy. And let me know if you have any feedback for me. I would love to hear your thoughts on what I had to say. And thank you so much for sending me the replay. I will see you in the next one. The next one you submit. And for everyone else that's watching, I will also see you guys in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Peace.